Time, and Ms. Linda Myers has signed up and would like to speak about two subjects. Ms. Myers, would you come forward, please?
Yes, thank you so much. The residents of Speedwell are still very concerned about our water project, of course, and since we saw the bid in the newspaper, that was particularly disturbing. Of course, you all know we don't want it, we don't need it, we really haven't had much of a choice. The cost is really prohibitive. We're concerned about water quality, and now that we have an alternative with the Southeast Rural Community Assistance Project, giving people, or making it available for people to have those loans, as you've seen in the information packet, for up to $11,000 at 1% interest. Actually, the interest rate is cheaper by 1.7% than what you guys are going to be paying for rural development loans. So we really ask you to look at that, because with this alternative, it makes water, if people don't have it, much more accessible. And Mr. David Blessing also brought up a compromise at the meeting. He wanted you to consider having people pay mandatory for 1 year, and then that would be dispensed with. So there seems to be some options, and we're hoping that you look at those things. That is about it. Also, oh, you guys spent $2,500 on some sort of furniture. Did you buy a love seat? What was that for?
I have no idea, man. Mr. Barrett, Mr. Dalton,
Do you know which item you're referring to, or check number?
Check number 381-280. We were just curious looking at that.
Could have been a sleeper sofa. I seem like I spent all my time here.
That would be good. And also, if there's any chance of getting the information packet with a link on the website so people could have access to it easier than running to the library at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon or whatever, that would be much better for all of us. Thank you so much.
Did y'all able to find that?
That was a Dell computer is what was purchased.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Sarah Paul, the County Racing Library.
I won't take up a moment of your time. As none of y'all are aware that we're starting on our summer materials program. And our summer, good. There's something in here for children, teenagers,
Okay.
or adults. So you know, you fall into one of the three categories, okay?
Took me 3 years to get used to that. You can have mine.
No, I say about children, and she said 3 kinds of adults, and I said, I missed them.
That's
I was
right.
going to say you can have this because they didn't put no pictures in it, so I can't read it.
Children, adults, and teenagers. We hope y'all will participate and come to the program and share the information. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We will now move to the next order of the agenda, which is minutes of the previous meeting of May the 8th, 2012. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Is there a second? Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? May the 8th, 2012. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. We'll move to payment of the invoices.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pay the invoices.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and second. Anyone have any questions concerning any of the invoices? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Horn.
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Moving right along this morning. Unfinished business. Mr. Dalton, do you mind speaking to this? The voting rights, pre-clearance.
It appears after a long, drawn-out process that we are very close to being receiving the bailout approval from the Department of Justice. We posted the last item. Understanding that once the notice has been posted for the length of time, you want to enter meetings. Consent order will be issued federal laws. I will tell you that Mr. Jack Fitzpatrick
21 years.
Call me to represent the group that is tracking all the bailout requests in the United States. Wanted to know why we had decided to request the bailout. And I explained the lengthy process every time we change a polling location from anywhere in the building to another one or next door, and what the process was and how long it took, and it made the delay of getting out the voter cards, etc. And our history. And he wanted to know the process. I referred him to St. Anderson. They've done all the work. Actually had proposed, came to us and proposed that we do that with a number of other counties in Virginia, and it'd be a more economical process. And that is where we're at.
Anyone have any questions? Concerns?
What's our objective with doing that again?
Our objective is every time we move a polling location, we have to send it to submit it to the Department of Justice, pass an ordinance. After receiving that, we can just hold a public hearing and pass the ordinance in the polling location. For example, if you have Blackley, Royal Oak was one that we moved more times than I want to count. From Lebanon, was out at the Apple House, the church, now it's the George Witt. Each time we did that, we had to submit. The other one's another one. Just on and on. It just takes a lot of time. And then the Department of Justice doesn't act until the last minute, and the registrar gets antsy about sending voter cards out, because you got to have those out 90 days prior to the day of the election. That was the motive, to try to shorten that process.
And Mr. Chairman, I don't have a question but a comment. You know, when you look at this, if somebody just glances at it, it almost makes it look like, you know, we're suing the federal government, or, you know, that we're embroiled in a legal battle, and then the word bailout has such a negative connotation. It almost, if you don't read it carefully, it could give you the idea that Witt County's done something wrong. And actually, if you read, the reason that we're able to do it is because we haven't had, you know, violations. We have done everything according to, you know, to law. So that's why, you know, hopefully we'll, you know, we'll be accorded this, you know, this privilege. But, yeah, just at first glance, if somebody looks at it, you know, it may sound negative to them, but it's a very positive thing, and we're able to do it because we have abided by the law. So I just, not a question, but just a comment.
Anyone else? All right, we'll move to the next order of unfinished business, and we have reassessment.
Reassessment. We have met and continue to meet. I made the decision on the debate last week. We were moving towards retaining our current type of software that was in-house, looking towards the future, finding another kind of camera software that will allow us basically some period of time for adjustment. There was so many holes or problems with the current camera product, the Stonewall, and even getting it in, mobile homes were messed up. The sketches were messed up. We just didn't feel that we could get the land book, or the commissioner could get the land book printed, even in a timely fashion, by moving at this point in time. I think we all agree that we need to move, find a better solution, and we'll be working towards that end. But it's just not going to happen. Just a couple of the byproducts of this, I'll just go ahead and tell you that I think Bay's office is currently working looking at all the sketches, trying to compare them side by side. Those that haven't been updated will have to be updated and changed. The next process is mobile homes. There's a group of mobile homes that haven't been worked or not worked. We're taking off and now back on. So that's going to take some time. What the impact of the board is that you will not be able to actively set the tax rate for next year to the last meeting of June 29th. So there'll be a public hearing for June 29th. You can do that. But pretty negative. We haven't talked to Scott yet, but our course of action, trying to collect some money back from Blue Ridge, but we intend to invoke all portions of the contract, including the penalty clauses.
Well, what about June 5th? We're still going to advertise the budget, are we not?
The budget public hearing is actually can be different than the tax rates.
Okay.
June 5th, it will be in the paper this weekend. Get all the things worked out. I think Bruce thinks that I can't make up my mind. I change it on a daily basis. So we will have it published. We will ask agenda item to be added later today to talk about the budget. We got some public hearing notices, drafts printed for y'all's consideration later today.
Anybody else? All right, is there any other business, Mr. Dalton, under unfinished?
I do not have any, sir.
Anybody?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I have one, I'd like to ask for some direction. At the last meeting, you appointed Mr. Hill, Mr. Grant, and myself to a task force to look at fire and rescue. Yeah, you made me chairman, thank you.
Didn't think of a better person.
But what I would like is some direction from the board. I want us to have, something in mind. What does the board, want us to find out? What are we looking at? Because, we've met with fire and rescue several times, before, and certainly we've, found out some valuable information. But, I think for us to be effective, we will need to know exactly what the board wishes for us to look at, and what's the goal of the board? I don't want to go off half-cocked. Because then we just spin our wheels over and over and over. And
well, I'll pass to your partner on your right, Mr. Hale. You made that motion. What was the intent at that time? And we'll.
Well, the intent was that Mr. Rosenbaum challenged the board in his last appearance that we haven't come through with setting standards, though that task force could recommend those standards. I asked that Mr. Grant be on there to let's look at the financial side, and that I believe there's an avenue that we can have the best fire rescue in Southwest Virginia and not cost the general fund anything. And if Mr. Dalton can follow up and get us a visit to other counties that have done this nearby, let's see how theirs work and move forward with having a better service.
Okay. Ms. Houghton, is that clear everything for you?
yeah, I have those. Is there anything else from the board? Within this setting standards, is part of that, and Joe, you may, be able to tell me, is part of that looking at, let's say, fire department who has not met the required 20 members, for 3 months, I mean, is the board expecting the task force to come back with a recommendation about those? Is that what you're?
Well, I think we
I
have
mean, that's,
pretty good
yeah, I
guidelines
understand
on
that that's
that.
just one.
We have guidelines on that, but my situation is if you come back with something that involves funding or something of that nature, as far as providing the training, you see, wasn't that one of our things, is providing for the?
Yes. And recommendations for training.
But the resolution is still out there, and it's 90 days. Hopefully, we'll solve all this.
So then you're saying that, that there doesn't need to be a recommendation for anything like that to come from this task force?
No.
Okay.
I think, Joe, pretty much the training pieces, what the qualifications would be, and then if the financial piece as well, making
All
sure.
right, Artie, let me back up. You said the financial piece and the, and what did you say?
Training piece.
Training piece, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else have anything other than?
I know there've been some concerns with some of the fire departments about this. You know, we discussed about, you know, taking away their, well, not taking away their funding, paying all their bills and stuff. Yeah, taking away the allotment and moving it all to the county as far as.
We hadn't actually taken away the allotment, have we? I mean, we're just paying for it differently.
Well, I thought that.
Instead of them sending us bills and us writing the fire department a check,
We're sending
which I
it.
think is the way we're doing now, they're sending the bill, we're wanting them to send the bill to the county, and then the county will just pay the vendor.
Right.
Is that?
That's the way I understand it.
Right.
But it doesn't have anything to do with their allotted amount.
No,
No.
they still have the same amount.
No.
It's just, you know, I think we need to clarify that to the chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have another budget, work on the budget again. I don't think we.
Yeah, we're gonna go through this afternoon, let's preface this, but just for an example, the point I use Ivanhoe, because Ivanhoe's there close to your house. And we've got workers' comp, education tuition, electrical service, heating services, water and sewer service, fire insurance, motor vehicle insurance, fuel, repair and maintenance, and operating supplies.
Can I have a copy of that?
Sure. So when you break all those departments out, everybody's got the same line item, so that you're paying for the heating service, the water, electric, repair and maintenance of the trucks, you got a fuel component to it, vehicle supply.
We go ahead and get all the allotted money, or just what the bill?
Just what the bills.
But that's always been
But
the case.
that's what they're getting now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're only getting what they turn in bills for. If they don't have a bill to turn in for it, then they don't get it. Well, I can guarantee you, every one of them's gonna turn in a bill.
I would hope they would, that's what the money's there.
Yeah, because we've got fuel for each one of them. It's $5,000.
Well, I didn't want to get into it right now, but I'll say my part of it for this evening.
Okay. Anything else? Well, let's move to reports. Mr. Crockett, go on down, Sam. Like, what's that show? Where they tell you to come on down?
Right. Let's make
Price
it-
is Right.
It's
Price
right, Mr. Treasurer.
Update our revenue statement yesterday afternoon. On our consolidated account report, currently $56,422,000. In our general fund balance, at the end of last month, $30,758,000. And that report that's coming around to you, our collections on the taxes that we print here and send out is $17,504,000. We exceeded our budget by about $695,000. We collected about 104% of our budget. On stickers, we're We sold 16,529 county decals. The sheriff's doing several tickets right now, so ticket sales have picked up, decal sales have been picked up quite a bit, so we're still selling those. Doing our warrant debts, we've already started that process for the year, so we'll have about another 1,000 warrant debts to file this year. And that's about all. Anybody got any questions? Yes, sir.
Sam, I've got one. There's a couple of vehicles that I've seen running around the county here that probably $50,000 or $60,000 dualies that don't have any kind of tag on them. They got the plastic, farm use that they picked up at Tractor Supply. Not just the placard or the tags. How do those people get to pay personal property tax on a $60,000 vehicle if it don't go through DMV?
Good question.
So that comes as a sheriff problem.
Yes, sir. They're probably not being taxed for it.
The sheriff don't want any more problems. So I got to run it.
That's true. All of our personal property information comes directly from DMV files as far as vehicles go. So if they're not buying tags, they're probably running around with a $600 tax bill, not they're never getting it, not paid.
And probably no insurance either.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, why we rock? Most people have to do what they have to do by regulation, and if you just sit on 52 or on any of the frontage roads, you'll just see vehicle after vehicle that have plastic tags. But I wanted to make the point, they're not only dodging the window placard, they're not paying personal property tax.
Well, if they're legitimate farm use vehicles, I understand it, but a brand new dually makes you wonder. I agree with you on that. If you afford to buy a dually, you ought to be able to afford to pay the taxes on it. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know how we can solve it until the road deputies actually catch them and start checking maybe. See those brand new trucks with plastic farm tag on them. Might be a thing, but
When they're parked up at the movie theater, you don't think they're on farm business?
We
that'd be a good place to start writing some tickets.
We've just been noticing an influx of, farm use vehicles in town, Walmart. I see them everywhere anymore.
Escape and find the county sticker and probably paying taxes. If they don't have anything else, that's exactly right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'll do that.
Okay. Next, we'll go to the Board of Supervisors report and start with Black Lake District. Mr. Chairman, the only thing that I just have a request for and it may already been done, but Mr. Dalton or Mr. Bear, I don't know who would do this, could, the Murphyville Cemetery, could we make sure that if it has not been mowed, if weather permits, that it's, that it's mowed before, this weekend, because I know that, several people come down, to visit the cemetery over Memorial Day. And, again, it may have already been done. I don't know. I haven't driven up there to, look, but if we could, if somehow we could get that mowed and, looking nice, for this weekend, I would appreciate it.
Send an email now and have you ask for lunch.
Okay. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Okay. West Whitfield?
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Fort Chisholm?
Road reports, rode around with Andy Fallon, and we need a board letter, if it pleases the chairman, to stripe Pepper's Ferry Road from the new bridge to the Gillespie County line. That's black pavement with no stripe on it. People coming out there early in the morning at work, and when it's raining, it would really help. Just center stripe and it's 3.1 miles from the new railroad bridge out to the Pulaski County line at Gun Park. He said that he might can get it done, but a letter from us would really help it get done.
You want to put that in the motion that we send that letter?
I put that in the motion and we send the letter.
I'll second.
Then move in second that we send the letter. Any other questions concerning? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And the last road thing is also, if we need a motion, ask Mr. Dalton contact with a letter that unused snow removal money be reallocated to Belt Road maintenance. There's quite a bit of money there, and VDOT don't send any back. It'll be used somewhere between now and July 1. So there might be more money there than we think. If that money could be put back in the maintenance fund for the version with him.
Mr. Thompson, should we just approach that with a call, or should we make that more formal?
I think make it a formal motion that, the way I understand it, snow removal money be transferred over to the secondary road maintenance.
I assume we're getting that motion?
That's the motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. 7-0. We'll move now to the Lead Mines District.
I don't have anything.
Lead Mines. Steeple,
I don't have anything at this time.
at large.
I have nothing at this time.
All right, East Whitfield. I will bring you up to date on a few matters. As far as the Director of Social Services, we had 23 applications, of which we decided to interview 13. Of that 13, 11 showed up for their interviews. We had applications from Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia. We have narrowed it down to 4. We will start the second phase of that interview next week on the 31st of May for the final 4 to come in, and we'll try to select someone from that 4 or narrow it down a little closer. I did attend the VACO meeting this past weekend. Got some information that I thought was kind of interesting. VACO's putting together right now a list of all counties that have a tax increase this year. But it looks like 70% of the counties in the Commonwealth had to raise taxes this year. The average is approximately 5 to 6 cents. That's the average, so some were much higher, some were lower, obviously. As far as unfunded mandates were concerned, the General Assembly added 50 mandates to us this year, and the Governor's Task Force took away 17. Of those 17, none of them involved money. Okay? So that kind of gave us a little bit of a deal. But there is some positive here. If you might have caught this in the paper. By the way, another unfunded mandate, I don't know if any of you saw that, is we have to send out new election cards. Voter registration cards this year. The governor has requested that each county will send out. So, Mr. Dalton, when we tweak that budget, I assume we'll have to tweak that for the number of registered voters we have. But the governor has said that he believes it's time that the Commonwealth look at another taxing structure and to reform our taxing structure, and that's a very positive thing. He even mentioned, if you saw that article, of ways putting inflation involved as far as funding highways and so forth, and I thought that was very encouraging. And VACO is doing everything that they possibly can do to be a part of that restructuring of the tax thing. We're hoping to be involved along with the VML, with the local citizens government. That's all I have, and we will move to committee reports. First committee being water.
Okay, the Water Committee met on Tuesday, May the 12th, 2012, to make the following recommendations. First is to authorize the $350 connection rate for Charles and Margie Dunford and Catherine Edwards, and for staff to assist the Dunfords with their SERCAP application.
Okay. All right, this coming from the committee would really need no second.
does involve money, so I guess we need to have a roll call vote. Mr. Hall?
Well,
okay.
Dan, can I ask one thing? When we talk about that, did we not talk about also the possibility to reduce connection fee for these people?
We did.
Okay, so if they qualify, okay.
I was gonna say, I thought that was left out because I thought that was kind of
Because
Right.
it's already
automatic.
Okay, I just wanted to,
You already, what, I didn't know what you said.
It's already a board policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You fill out the form, if you meet a certain income criteria at the
Right.
poverty level, then you qualify.
So whichever reduced rate they qualify for. Okay. All right?
You feel good, everybody now? Everybody else? All right, Mr. Hall, I'll try to vote with you again. Aye. Motion passes 7-0.
Second thing was refer to the Board of Supervisors that the mandatory connection ordinance be discussed. There's a letter in here from Travis Jackson.
Hold up.
And do y'all want to discuss it now, or do you want to go on through the rest of them? Or?
I'm prepared to discuss it now. I don't know how other members feel, if they want.
That's fine with me.
Well, I mean, from what we got from Travis, I mean, his letter basically says that we can do away with mandatory hookups. If we do, it's going to cost us more because we're going to have to send somebody out and get user agreements. He also questioned on the end of it the legality of people that we've made hook up in the past. I don't know if Scott's ever looked into that for us.
Well, from what the letter says too, that not only do we have to have the user agreements, we have to have the fee paid. That the money has to be in hand, before they would even, consider, any kind of loan.
Mr. Dalton, you want to speak to this?
I think on the second page, the top sentence, next to last paragraph, the key portion of this whole letter. It says the county cannot change the basis of income that loan decision was made without the rural development's written approval.
Are we looking at mandatory hookup for future projects or ones that have already been completed? I mean, they're already hooked up, projects that have been completed.
See, that was where the legal part comes in, because we wasn't sure. I mean, if we made it not to where it wasn't mandatory, could the people that we've made hook up in the past come back and say, well, I didn't want to hook up, y'all need to give me my money back?
In which case, we would be in default of our loan agreement.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'd have to...
I mean, 'cause when those loans were made, it was made under the
Right.
mandatory hookup. I mean, I don't see how we could do that, but, I mean, future projects, I think certainly.
I mean, we've heard a lot of discussions about this, and I think we all agree, none of us like the mandatory hookup, but we all do agree that it's a necessary evil in order to get water to places in the county. Sometimes you do things you don't like just to make things work. I think Dave had a good idea of setting a limit, at some point you can disconnect from it. But the only way I could figure to do it is you'd have to, what's our loans run, 20 years?
38.
Oh, 38 years. Well, that makes it even longer then.
Most people aren't.
I mean, I was going to say, the only thing I can think by what he's saying there is the only way you could do that is you'd have to say, well, you're going to have to pay for this loan paid off, and then you can disconnect after that. But I mean, 38 years is a long time.
Mr. Dalton, how much does it actually cost to buy the meter and get it installed? I mean, I know it's not $350.
It's over $1,000.
Okay.
At one time, I was thinking they told us it was like $12.50 to have it installed and everything.
Well, so if people paid, I mean, if they paid, if they never, you know, what Dave was talking about is they never hook up to the water. Absolutely never hook up to the water, you know, that you know, it cuts off after a certain, you know, period of time. If they did it until they paid for the actual cost of the meter at $11 a month, that's $132 a year. I mean, if they actually just paid for the cost of the meter, that still would be the connection fee and approximately payment for 10 years, for almost 10 years, just to pay back. You know, just to pay that back. Maybe 8 years.
To give you an idea, I figured it up a while ago, if you pay the $350 hookup fee plus the minimum $11 bill for 20 years, you're only paying $2,990.
For how many years?
20 years. Because I was thinking we did 20-year loans, but now I may have figured something wrong, but that's...
But that's my biggest problem going back on the mandatory hookups is the people in the rest of the county, it's hooked up to the water. And now we're saying, okay, we're not gonna make it mandatory. I don't think it's right to the rest of the citizens that's been made hooked up to it.
Well, I'm like Gene in the fact that, you know, if you ask me, do I like it? No. Do I think it's necessary? Yes. Because if we went away from the mandatory connection fee, I think we would effectively stop all water, you know, projects, you know, all future projects in the county, because it just becomes, you know, too burdensome and too expensive to with too much uncertainty, you know, to try to do a water project.
And I've been calling people up in Crockett and out on stage, and you know, some of them, you know, don't like it. They see the need for it. They see the need, you know, some people do need water, and they can understand why we're doing it. And you know, I think the majority of the people, you know, out there, I've not called everyone, but do want the water. And I'm planning, you know, I'm continuing to call, but you know, to continue moving the county forward, you know, I think we don't need to step back.
Mr. Dalton, does it impact if we, I mean, and I think we're talking future projects, not past projects, but if we change from mandatory hookup to user agreements, does that have any impact on our interest rate for rural development?
It doesn't have any real effect on the interest rate, Mr. Hall. What it has is the effectiveness of the length of time it takes to make an application for them to even consider until the time they'll award the project, because they're not going to consider your application until you have at least the 80% or enough people signed up where that project is financially feasible. My question, this whole process all along, does anybody like mandatory? No. Sure. Nobody likes to be told what to do. However, if you do away with mandatory, then you've got people, say, they don't get it, but they're still getting the benefit of fire protection and all those other things, and reduced insurance, et cetera, that more than offsets $11 a month. Because we had that survey from the insurance companies that actually showed that you get up to anywhere from 10 to 30%.
Well, that was gonna be one of my points, was that I don't think a lot of people look at it as that benefit.
And for most people, the reduction in their homeowner's insurance would, for a lot of them, it will more than, pay for the minimum usage.
Well, according to the report we got, it should, but I mean, there's gonna be some that it won't affect at
Sure,
all.
well, there was one insurance company that said that they gave notice.
Yeah, it depends on their insurance company, not on,
And I don't think, mobile homes is affected by it either.
It may not be.
Yes, sir.
I'm not for changing it, making it any different than the way it is. In 1956, we started paying a water bill in Idaho, we're still paying a water bill in Idaho. There'd be no comparison there to make it fair for those people. I wouldn't be for that.
Was there any other discussion?
Can we put this to bed today?
I think you can put it to bed very simply. Either you act on it or you don't.
Right. Do you want, as a water committee, to make a motion and let's vote on this? We've taken up a lot of time discussing something, and we ought to settle it.
well, I mean,
Well, I don't think Gene can do it as a water
As a
committee.
water
The
committee, I don't-
itself would have to meet.
Well,
He can
an
do it as an
individual
individual. Any board member can do it as an individual. If we leave it alone, and I do not hear a motion, then it stays intact as presented. It's not changed.
Say that again for me.
If we do not have a motion to change it, then it just stays intact as it is with mandatory hookup.
And do you think that is an effort to put it to bed and we're by this hurdle?
I can't tell you that.
Okay.
But
would you rather me make a motion to do away with it and then us vote it down?
That's exactly what I think will put it to bed.
Well, then if that's what you wanna do, I mean, I can make the motion that we do away with mandatory hookup. If we get a second, we'll vote on it. If we don't, it'll die there or whatever.
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second to do away with mandatory hookups. Is there?
To do away with mandatory.
I think that's what I heard.
That's what,
I think Mr. Dalton.
Well, wait a second, I got some hands going everywhere just a second. But I will go to Mr. Dalton, because he may clarify for us. Thank you.
What this motion will do, then if it passes, then the next step will be to set a public hearing.
To amend the ordinance, or change the ordinance, right? All right. Now, I saw hands go over here. Anybody? Maybe I just got panicked on that.
No, I'm sorry. Mr. Dalton was raising his hand. You were looking this way. I didn't think that you saw him, so that.
Oh, that's what you were
That was
talking
why I indicated, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion and a second that we do away with it. We'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Twenty, we're gonna start with you. Well, I can start it,
No, I mean, I'm gonna vote yes for it because I made the motion and also because I've had people from Spiel complain about it, but personally, I don't agree with my vote, but.
Okay.
I've got to represent people.
I got no.
No.
Got no?
No.
no.
Nay.
And Chair votes no. 6-1 against the motion. We'll move on.
Okay, let me say this. Mr. Weston asked about the extended period of time. I mean, is that something that there's any support for or not?
We can't do anything about that according to this letter unless we finish paying the loan off. Am I not right?
Well, without the, without the written approval, yeah.
I think it still could put your loan in jeopardy.
That's what I'm.
That's my thought. So I would.
I think, I mean, if you did anything, it would be to make it to where once the loan's paid off on that particular section, then if they don't want to connect, they don't have to. But you're looking at a 38-year thing.
Okay, well, in an effort to put, to put everything to bed, then, let me make this, in the form of a motion so that there will be a, formal vote on it, that, after people pay you know, the hookup fee, that, they continue paying the minimum fee until, you know, the full cost of the, you know, the meter, the installation, is paid. You know, I'll make that as a motion. I'm not saying that I will vote for it, but you know, but that's, I make that as a motion because it was, you know, it was brought up by, you know, by citizens.
Is there a second? No second, motion dies for lack of second. All right, we'll move on, Water Committee. I believe you have Barron Springs and...
Yeah, I get back to where I was at. To enter into contract with Peting Board to conduct the PER for Barron Springs, Patterson Water Improvement, and Poplar Camp Sewer Improvements. There was, I think there's a list in here.
It is.
They were the cheapest.
7,500.
Yep. So we'll be voting on this, coming from the Water Committee. Did not need a second. We'll be voting on giving this contract to Peting Board. Is that correct?
Yep.
7,500, you say?
Actually, I think it's, if I understand it right, it's $7,500 for water and $7,500 for the sewer study.
Okay.
Or engineer.
But are we combining it into one motion though, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions, discussion?
How far does that study go? Is that preliminary planning or final planning?
That's preliminary engineering report that will detail potential number of customers, costs, environmental considerations, develop a map. Once that's done, will allow you to make an application. What I'd also say is that once that map, before we make the application, since we take preliminary engineering report, public information meeting in Barron Springs at the firehouse, which is the biggest public building we have down there, or Jackson, and discuss both projects before we make the application. We'll have all the comments prior to
This building.
Yes.
Makes sense to me. And is this the one that they were gonna go door to door to talk to people?
That's Slade County.
Oh, okay, I knew there was one of them somewhere. Okay.
That answer, all right, Mr. Hall, I'll start with you this time. And aye.
The next one is to enter into contract with the Lane Group for the Slabtown PER.
Okay? Maybe it needs no second. Any discussion?
I will further, on the Slabtown is a lot different than their normal water and sewer projects. Slabtown would be a comprehensive community improvement project, which would potentially include housing, roads, and just as a community, upgrade that community with the Department of Housing and Community Development. That would be all this. It does include going door to door.
Yeah, I knew one of them did, I just couldn't remember which one.
Which is a complete different, it's sort of like what we did at Austinville 10 years ago, and housing we had.
It's more expensive, right?
Yes.
That's what I said, I hadn't gotten down low enough to find the price. Okay, it's 25,000, where the other one was a whole lot less, it's only 7,500. I just thought everybody needed to understand why it was so much more.
All right. Any other discussion? I guess one of you get the vote, please.
Aye.
And aye. 7-0.
And the last thing that we have on here is to adjust Richard Bryant's water bill to the 6-month average due to a water leak. You have in your board package, there's a copy of our, is it an ordinance or a rate? It's ordinance for how we adjust water leaks. They have to be under the house, out of sight. This one's kind of a little different because I think it was actually in his basement. I think it was a water heater that was leaking. But the way I understand it, he doesn't live there, so I think that's part of our exception.
Yeah, and he was having some work done by a contractor and evidently with water on.
Well, in the ordinance, it says bill adjustments shall be made immediately for any mistakes in meter reading or billing, which this is not it, but bill adjustments for customer leaks shall be made for underground leaks or where leaks are not immediately visible after certification by a water department employee. And in this case, he wasn't there, it wasn't immediately, visible.
Well, my question is, after reading this, is do we even need to vote on it? It's covered by ordinance, and you all just...
Well, I think we normally vote on adjustments on it.
I think this is a little different, Danny,
Okay.
because when we changed the ordinance, we dealt with people that had crawl spaces, so this is actually a basement. I think personally it's a little different than down town. When I go on vacation, I cut my water off as good as in the house. I don't leak for 6 months. Leave my water on me.
Well, I don't take vacations for 6 months, so we're... Well, I know, I just... so you think it would take a vote just to be on the safe side of the ordinance? Okay. Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And aye. Okay. We'll move to budget.
Let me get up here. At its May 17, 2012 meeting, the Budget Committee made the following recommendations. One, to accept the With Bland Foundation grant for $350,000 for microwave radio system and related equipment for the new E911 center, and to include the same in the fiscal year 2013 budget. That's grant from the foundation, and there's not anything, no monetary cost to us.
Okay. Any discussion? All right. Roll call vote. Tony, to accept the grant. Aye. And aye. Thank you.
The second thing, to accept the With Bland Foundation grant for $100,800 for the school violence program and needs assessment for With and Bland law enforcement agencies, and to include the same in the fiscal year 2013 budget. This acceptance is contingent upon obtaining the required letters of support from the Virginia State Police and Blaine County. And that's all that is required for the state police to send in a letter of support, and Blaine County send in a letter of support, since it also is the With Bland Foundation.
We're not anticipating any problems with that,
No, and this is, again, a grant that doesn't cost us, matching funds or anything.
Ready to vote? Mr. Hall? Right.
Third thing, to amend and appropriate $1,500 to 7205-43600 and approve making application to the Virginia Tourism Corporation for a partnership leverage grant. The committee further requested a breakdown of how this grant is spent and the fiscal impact on With County. A lot of this has to do with the festival and the New River Challenge, Family Festival, Max Meadows Heritage Days. Anyway, it's a $1,500 grant that $1,500 if we put it in, there's a leverage grant that they, could receive up to $12,600 for that. It's a grant that would advertise, our county. Matter of fact, it says the grant would be used to extensively market this area and its festivals through numerous media outlets. We thought, for $1,500 that this is a good way to maybe get some information out there, but we also didn't want to just give the $1,500 without an accounting of exactly how everything is going to be spent and what the fiscal impact will be on the county.
Any other discussion? 20. Aye. And aye, 7-0. Thank you.
And that's all, Mr. Chairman.
County Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First item is the emergency water interconnect agreement.
Do we need to vote to accept this?
Vote to administrator, chairman, whoever signs it. When it comes down to it, there may be a word or two that changes in it.
If I could make an editorial comment, Mr. Chairman, on section 11, temporary cessation of services. The very first sentence, which talks, the third line, or damage to machinery, pumps, or pipelines, acts of God, it needs to be capital G. I'm sensitive to things like that.
Understand that. That could be noted. Then can I have a motion to move forward with this interconnect and give the county administrator and or myself the...
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
And this is basically the same one that Michael has presented
Yes.
to. Okay.
50th version.
The regional water agreement.
The next item is regional water agreement between Poetry and Smith County. It's supposed to be with county. I request that they be referred to the water committee. What that does is develop the state streams and that's the water line. And interconnects Smith County, Smith County, and town of Poetry.
That needs no action, we just move it to the water.
If you'll so,
I'll order that. Okay? Southwest Rule.
yes, go for the Teresa vote. Concerning indoor plumbing and rehab program, we just haven't finished that, so I don't know. We talked about getting them to help us, not only people that don't have public water, potentially, but individual home, well program, septic systems, home improvement loans. Tentatively agree that they will do house-to-house surveys. If anybody has anybody that they know of that is plumbing or has needs, handicap needs, that their house is not accessible, as it needs to be, they can come in and do that assessment and help with that program.
I noticed, we did have one house on the lower end of town,
He did, that Ms. Numbers?
yeah.
Matter of fact, I had some pictures. If you would,
It was down there, I'd say a good few months.
they've taken, basically home equipment, put a new porch, a bathroom, rehab. But should be a continual focus of us with their help, indoor plumbing, in homes, rehab, because people have accidents and things that they need assistance and upgrade to their home. Or having indoor plumbing. Martha has some pictures.
sit on the side of the road now, right here.
Yeah. She did. It's gone.
Yeah.
And this is this story of, look at is our annual plumbing provider, does those things application. But they also said on future projects, the water and sewer, they would actually go out and applications.
So we need to identify the ones that need.
Yes. Now, anybody that's ready, can be somebody else, young, has an accident, change, help with the home, make the handicap system.
What is the procedure? What are they?
They'll come out, once we identify them, they'll come out, meet with them, take an application, assess for home, no cost. And the next item is the notice turned over to the county attorney concerning the indoor plumbing program. And years and years ago, we had a lien on the property. They actually borrowed the money. The first note over that, Mr. Harlan, see where we have to be.
So I happen to notice, and I don't know if it will affect anything, this J. Patton Graham, who must be the attorney that they have right now, in that opening letter says, that the property will be sold of the Circuit Court of Smith County, Virginia, located in Whitfield. Read over it.
Circuit Court.
Yeah, he also has in the substitution of trustee, he has Scott S. Farley, F-A-R-L-I-N-G. I don't know that does any of that stuff, would that bother the actual process?
I don't think it's bother, we're the first lien holder, that money, the house is sold, come back to the indoor plumbing program, we're using the house that we have.
You know, it's really sad that lady's going to lose her home. That baby. We know she borrowed $40,000-$50,000. She paid that much and we sell it for $8,500.
I think Corey did that, and she, the house, she passed the money.
It wasn't around Christmas time, I was down on the phone.
And that was my understanding. I called about it. I understand. Maybe I just gave up on the home. And she passed it.
No,
This is right.
And for clarification, the deed of trust that the county had did not require any payment at all. It was just, the entire deed, there was no payment the entire time she's had this. It became due and payable when the house was sold. And that's why they're notifying us.
What happened is we actually, the county, with the grant, we spent about $40,000 on the home. We forgave everything except $8,500. $8,500 was still not due to payable unless she sold her home. She went and got a second mortgage from this bank, Bank of America. They're the ones who sell the home.
I'm saying, the county's not, Bank of America is forcing us.
If she can work out a deal that they don't sell, we'll just continue to have a note against the house forever.
Yeah, I know the deed says November 6, 2006. She's, for her, she lived there for like 4 years.
She's been there ever since they gave buying new floor.
Yeah.
Could you have refinanced it maybe, and that's why?
I think that's what she did.
Yeah.
That's what the November is, I think, was a refinance.
I am going down there today, I know her personally. See, doing the business, but you know, if it's a house you live in, $8,500, I'm over that.
Me,
better believe I'll be at that sale.
But I see what you're saying, it's not the $8,500 that we're getting, it's what she owes the bank, she may still owe the bank $55,000. It doesn't say. I didn't understand until he said.
Would this sale be final, when it's on the courthouse steps, aren't they final? So that the bank can't say back out of it, only Coy shows up and bids $2.
No.
The bank will have a record to make sure that it doesn't go for $2.
Well, I'm sure of that, they'll have their,
I mean, I would think.
Most of the sales, they'll have the minimum, even though they,
Billy Barker, we stayed in them before it's over.
okay. So I'm gonna do it with instant. All right, well, Wood County Jail property?
you have the list that, we're sending over to the bank, they should have. I know that we'll sign a piece of paper, that says they can move forward with demolition of the jail. Just need to sign that.
There were some dates in here that I didn't understand.
I'm glad it wasn't just me.
Says for a period of 40 years, beginning on like the 1st of June 2012 and ending in July 21st, 2031. That's not quite 40 years. I just didn't understand that.
That's the date that the school property lease with the town expires. We're trying to get them on the same date, so the next lease just gets on the next 40 years, because it also says that the school lease in they can automatically renew that.
Is it the town, does the town ever want to buy the property, or would they rather lease it?
Sell the property because they don't have enough acres. They use it as the 15 acres that they require to have to be a credit to Spittle Elementary School. They can lease the property, but they can't sell it.
The jail property either,
That's the school, but the jail property is our property.
Jail's their property. So what we're trying to do is just tag that school property.
I mean, does the town have a desire to purchase the jail property, or are they just?
I think they'd be willing to purchase it. You said it was that? I asked Wayne if we just had a lease to that. And just to be forever, whenever it comes up, they can take care of it. He said that was fine.
What's our benefit, I guess, to leasing it rather than just selling it to them?
Our benefit, that if the school ever needed that property, since we still own the annex, and the school still owns that property for accreditation, if something changed to that, what would change? The school, sometimes build a ball field, and change the parking, access, whatever you need. I don't see that happening. It just puts it all that property together on the same surface.
Do they plan to tear down the bleachers too?
Yeah, best in the document I've got to sign, it says the jail. I've said that before, but it looks like I was wrong, because it doesn't anywhere say in that document, ground floor, it includes the bleachers.
Just the jail.
You know, they may be, but it's not part of that grant.
What,
Oh, yeah.
So we're allowing them, they could demolish the jail building and.
Oh, yeah.
hopefully that's what they want to do with the ramp to it.
Yeah, they want to make it Wayne told me that just make the grass area, walkway back to the park.
Personally, I don't know how the board members feel about this. If we give them this lease, I'd like to give them the lease with the ability to do anything they want to anywhere on the property. So if they want to tear the stadium down, that's up to them.
That's where I was going with the sale question, why not maybe just sell it?
Can that be modified a little bit with some, just worked out?
Does section 3 address that?
Improve the property by demolition removal. Dilapidated lights, poles, nets, fences, bushes, trees, or retire an existing structure. And the repair of existing structure.
Basically, the way I read that gives us the right to do anything we want to on the property.
Also, with section 5, they can pay us $50,000 July 1st, and that's their lease obligation for the next, till 2030. Or they can wait until 15 years down the road. Is that kind of what, this has to be paid during the lease period?
It's paid
up
in
front.
advance.
So it's got to be paid
Yeah.
up front. And then they don't have to make any payments for
Yes, sir.
a long time.
So when this is renewed, they pay us 50 more times? Okay. That's kind of what I figured we'd do, but I thought if you was gonna keep charging, then you need to change your rate or
You'll be
something.
young enough, you'll see that thing. I don't
I ain't
know.
gonna bet that.
Mr. Chairman, we need a motion on this.
I assume we do, we follow through with it.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we put this into effect, accept this, put it into effect.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, then we'll authorize this to be sent over to the town for their signatures and put it into effect if they decide to sign the lease agreement. Okay? Since this involves money and I point toward you with my little finger, Holly.
That's fine. Aye.
Aye and aye, thank you. Appalachian Power Line.
Just a reminder, public information, meeting 24th, Orchard High School, grade 5 and 8, on this. Talking about these routes and look at maps, stay prepared. Runs through Joe and Boyd's district, it appears to me. Daily Depends comes into the substation. Any different routes? I've been there since the rest of the mill not on.
Okay. So, any board member that would like to attend is certainly encouraged.
And it starts at 5.
Starts at 5, but it's come and go. Right. County attorney is in court now and hopefully will join us later. With that being said, I would like to declare a 10-minute recess and we'll come back and talk